Welcome to this edition of the Palmetto Guardian. We are still in the field with the Best Warrior competition. I'm Specialist David Erskine.
I'm Sergeant Chelsea Baker.
And today we have First Sergeant Kevin Williams with us from 59th Aviation.
That's correct.
That's correct. All right, I got it right. We had a quick check on it right before we started. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to remember my way all the way through it. But he is joining us today because he has been instrumental in the overall setup and the execution of the Best Warrior competition event. I believe, if I'm correct, talking with State Command Sergeant Major Vickery, you've been involved with this for about a year or so now?
Yes,
Yes.
about a year.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit. Give us some insight about why. Well, let's start how first. Let's talk about how kind of all this comes together. We don't have to get down in the nitty gritty nuts and bolts of it, but just give us kind of an overview of what it takes to pull off something like this.
So the Best Warrior competition is a competition that encompasses every MSC from within the state. And so one MSC has to take the lead in doing the planning and the preparation phase of the event. And so for this year, it was the 59th Aviation Troop Command, and that was selected by Command Sergeant Major Vickery. And so once he handed that task off to us, it was incumbent upon us to get with the previous MSC, which was the 59th Troop Command, and kind of get their lessons learned, get their AAR comments, talk with their SMEs from the last year's event, and see how we can build and improve upon the event this year.
Now, an event like this, maybe some soldiers and airmen and the general public out there really don't know a whole lot about Best Warrior competitions, maybe don't even know they exist per se. Mm-hmm. But, why is this important, or what does this mean to the soldiers who are actually participating in the event?
So, from my vantage point, every soldier that is here, they're not here just to see what they can do for themselves and push themselves mentally and physically, but they're here representing their MSC, and they're here representing their colors. They've got the heart to be the ones to put themselves out here and go through the mental and physical anguish it takes to really represent your MSC, showcase your skills, and try and figure out who is the best warrior for the state.
And it's a big deal, and you mentioned that, and you talk about them representing their MSCs and stuff. As I was doing interviews with them and stuff and talking with them, that is something that comes up repeatedly. So it's, not only is it a point of winning the competition, but you get to bring back a little bit of bragging rights to the MSC. Now, if I'm not mistaken, one of the last year's winner was from Aviation, correct?
That's correct.
Yeah.
Specialist Chase Jones.
Specialist Chase Jones. So that was one of y'all's guys, and that was first time in a while that we had anybody from Aviation win one of the competitions. Yeah,
that is true.
Yeah, so we got him in there, right? We got him in there.
We did finally.
Yeah,
yes.
And I was fortunate enough to go to regionals with him, and he was excellent soldier. It was nice to meet and talk with and everything. Mm-hmm. Another part of this is kind of the support staff that's out here. We got a little bit of representation. Obviously public affairs out here, but there's other folks making kind of the gears turn out here. Mm-hmm. Talk about what it takes and these folks out here on the support side.
So from the support element, these guys are out here and they're competing, and so it's our job to make sure they have everything they need to succeed. And we only want them to focus on the competition itself and the tasks that they have to do on a daily basis. And so it really starts with the sustainment element of it. We want to provide a good environment where they feel like they have everything they need. They shouldn't be struggling to figure out, hey, do I have enough water today? Do I have food? Do I have does my support guy have all the equipment that I need? So it's our job to prepare them before they arrive, and then when they arrive, problem solve and figure out how we can best take care of them from a day-to-day basis. And it's up to us to meet every evening and kind of sync up and decide, what went right today and how can we benefit them tomorrow? What can we do to keep them in the fight?
Yeah, you bring up a good point there. We have our times during the day when actual events are going on, but for y'all, that day is longer a little bit either side of that,
right,
to be out here. So there's a lot of effort going into that, and people are putting a lot of time in. And from what I can tell, and you can give me your point of view on this too, it seems like everybody out here from the support wise that's involved with this, they're loving it. I mean, they really are. I haven't seen any down faces or anybody. They're right, happy to be a part of this.
Right. Yeah. Every person that's out here, they realize that they're here to support the competitors and the sponsors who are helping those competitors. And at the end of the day, we're all soldiers first, and we want to do our jobs and we want to support others. And What we've seen out here is this year we took it up a notch and we set up an entire field site to where these guys felt like not only were they staying in the woods and they were embracing the suck, if you will, but we're also out here doing it with them. And so everything from field feeding to having an operation set up in the field so that if they have an emergency or if they have a need, if they just need a little bit of a break to eat their chow in a heated tent, we want to be able to provide that for them. And what's made me, I guess, proud as the N2IC of the event is, we've got enough manpower here to support not only the competitors and sponsors, but each other. So we're not running any guys into the ground or anything. We're taking shifts, and everyone's happy and positive. And as long as you manage their time well, they'll help take care of the competitors. And ultimately, that's the goal, is to make sure they have a great event.
I can't really see behind me to see if you want to ask a question or not. So out of character, that's why I spin around and be like, hey, you got anything?
I just think it's cool because before last year, I didn't really know what the Best Warrior was. So being able to come out and covering it and going to regionals, it's nice to see how it's evolved because, you guys have Tent City up front at the mount site with support and the talk, and then you, like you were saying, you have the heated tents in the back. Last year, the weather conditions were a lot worse than what it is this year, so it's nice that with each year, it progressively gets better and better. Mm-hmm. So I'm excited to see what regionals is going to bring. I don't know if you guys are going to be a part of that planning as well.
We definitely will.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we'll get to see you again. Hopefully get you on another podcast.
Yes, we are.
Well, once you get involved with it and you take some ownership of the event, it sort of becomes something that you start to cherish. So now I feel kind of like a proud papa. I've helped facilitate this event, and we got a lot of great guys who've had a good time doing the event, and so I've already spoken to them and engaged their interest in helping out with the regionals, and they're all about it. So we want to continue to make every event that we have, whether it's the regional or moving on to next year's state competition, we want to help that next MSC succeed and do even better than we did. Because at the end of the day, we're not out here trying to shine on our own. We're trying to make it, we want the state of South Carolina to be represented. And when someone comes around to see the competition, they really feel like, hey, these guys have put in so much effort, and it's really just in an effort to get the competitors to have a great event, prepare them for the next level. So, the more we can do for them, and the more we can showcase what we're capable of doing out here and lead others in that right direction, that's what we want to focus on.
Well, I would have to say you've probably thrown the gauntlet down this year for what I've seen out here.
That was the goal.
Boom, here it is. Yes. See if y'all can catch up with us because it really has been excellent. I guess overall, how you think the competition's been going and stuff so far?
The competitors have stayed engaged, and here we are on day 4, and you still look in the competitors' eyes, and they still have the drive, they still have the initiative. I go back to yesterday at day 3, we're on the obstacle course, and we're really taxing these guys, and they've gone through a really hard physical 2 days prior, and you watch them come through that obstacle course, they get to the end, and just everyone yelling and screaming and motivating each other. And I'm not talking about just the sponsors and the support staff, but the other competitors who have already done their part and have sat down and changed clothes and grabbed something to eat, and they see their fellow competitors come across the line, they run over and they shout and yell and motivate them too. And so that's when you know that while this is a competition, it's still, we're all brothers in arms, and we're all here to support each other. So no matter if I'm competing against you or you're against me, at the end of the day, we're trying to get each other across the line. And that's what you see here at day 4 is these guys they can sense the finish line, they feel it, they know that they're close, and they've only got a few more events they got to get through. If they just keep holding each other up, they'll all make it. And at the end of the day, you do have to have a winner, but just competing and accomplishing the events and staying in the fight is absolutely something to be proud of. And again, it goes back to representing their MSC. They can go back and say, I gave it my all for my brigade, for my soldiers, for my leadership, and I'm the guy that represented us this year. So
yeah, and that's true. And I've seen real world stuff where that's during this event's already happened. Ruck March, Sergeant stopped after he hit the halfway point, stopped and waited on his soldier. I mean, he's on this event as a timed event, but he waited for his enlisted counterpart to, he stayed there in line to cheer him until he caught up and then, continued on. We've had things out here where it's new for people, like the swim and stuff, and, they were coaching each other up and, working them through it. And I think that's a nice part of a competition that, you don't necessarily get or see all the time. And it's awesome that the leadership has bred an environment that allows that to happen, you know.
That's right.
But with that being said, do you have a favorite in this year's competition? You're going to stay objective for right now.
I am neutral. My job is to get them all across the finish line and celebrate them at the end.
All right. Well, that's outstanding. I guess just real quickly, if there's anything else you'd like to kind of add in your piece, I know we were kind of short and bouncing around on questions and stuff, but if there was something that we missed that you really want to highlight about this year's Best Warrior competition, by all means, take the opportunity.
You guys have done a great job this week. You know, personally, I want to thank you guys as the PA office. You've come out, you've highlighted our soldiers, you've been at every single event with you. Sergeant Baker, I've seen you in the pool trying to get the best shots you can. And again, you know, that speaks to your professionalism and wanting to get out here and capture the essence of the competition. And I think that's part of what goes overlooked is we don't do a good enough job of selling ourselves and putting the product out there so people see what we're doing. And you know, the other thing I'll hit on is these guys are out here and they're performing these events and building NCOs and building leadership. You know, what you just spoke on was the fact that these guys are cheering each other on, and those are leadership qualities that emerge as these guys are doing their events and they're competing with each other. They're competing against themselves, but they're learning to be leaders as well, and they're grabbing their fellow soldier up and trying to get them across the finish line, and they're seeing what it takes to finish competition and to finish the mission, if you will, if you want to replace competition with a mission. They're figuring out what it takes to get across that finish line and all the work that goes into it, and it's not just about them, it's about everyone completing the event. So that's the part that I think is unique about this is, you know, you come out to compete as an individual and you end up leaving as part of a group that will be remembered until next year, and there will be stories told out here next year about the competitors from this year, and it just builds and builds, and you know, it's camaraderie, and these guys they start to get a bond, and they'll know each other, and they'll follow their careers for the next 5 to 10 years, and you never know. So one of these guys coming around right now is your future CSM. So
yeah,
those leadership qualities they gain here and they showcase for their leadership and for others that are visiting. I think putting that on a pedestal so others can see it, and you guys definitely representing and putting out there for others to see, and just bringing attention to the event. That's what's helped us a lot. So I appreciate you guys.
Well, thank you. We love being out here. I've said it a couple times when talking to people today. This is a reward for me. I'm in the office a lot. You know, people hear us on the podcast. You know, it's all office work. I love getting the opportunity to get out here. So this is fun for me also. Sergeant Baker, you agree?
I definitely like getting out in the field.
It's a day out here in the field doing this is much better than sitting in an office.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's a challenge for us, too, because it allows us to show what we're capable of doing. So
I had no idea. That you could conduct a podcast at the end of a ruck march out in the field. And
we didn't either.
When you set up these contraptions, I thought to myself, what are they doing?
Yeah, we didn't either. So I appreciate you taking time out of the schedule to come
Absolutely.
over here and talk with us about this. For all those out there listening, check this stuff out. Learn more about the Best Warrior competition. It'll be coming around again next year. If you think, hey, maybe this is something I'd like to do, I'm a little interested, start asking the right people and getting the information. You've seen multiple people you can contact, you know, through the podcast and stuff, and we've talked about it. So make sure you're liking, subscribing, leaving comments, following us. Check out our stuff both on iTunes and YouTube, and we'll catch you in the next episode.